Caitlin Clark. Coming in at number 1, numero uno, the head honcho, the GOAT, Caitlin Clark. She is the league. At the same time, it is hilarious. It's alarmingly 2 million over-year GOATs. Please stop trying to compete with Caitlin Clark in the viewership game because you can't compete with fake viewership numbers using viewership numbers from a year ago. Just when Angel Reese fans thought they could rewrite the numbers, this game pulled in 2 million viewers. By the way, it hit above 2 million because it overlapped with a Caitlin Clark game a year ago and it went on too long. Caitlin Clark proved once again why she's the real face of the WNBA. For weeks, fake viewership stats have been spread to claim Rhee is a bigger draw than Clark, but the truth just came out, and it's not even close. You guys are coming up with fake viewership numbers using viewership numbers from a year ago. In case you don't know, the Chicago Sky fans went and put up this saying that in the most recent matchup for A'ja Wilson, it did 22 million views. No, it did not. That is from last season, and it only got those numbers because it was a lead-in to the Caitlin Clark game following it, and the game went on longer than it was supposed to. Angel Reese's fans recently tried to push a story that she was suddenly becoming a massive ratings draw. They pointed to a claim that her matchup against the Las Vegas Aces pulled in 2 million viewers. At the same time, it is hilarious. Its alarm did 2 million over a year ago. It did 2 million a year ago because it was a lead into a Caitlin Clark. It was a lead into a Caitlin Clark. And by the way, Angel Reese had more hype last year when Caitlin Clark was on the floor. People cared more about Angel Reese because Angel Reese has been so good this year, a number that would put her in the same league as Caitlin Clark when it comes to attention. But here's the truth. That number didn't come from this season at all. It was recycled from last year, and it only looked that big because the game overlapped with a Caitlin Clark doubleheader on national TV. And it only got those numbers because it was a lead-in to the Caitlin Clark game following it. And the game went on longer than it was supposed to. So people had already turned to the channel and was waiting for the Caitlin Clark show to start. When the Aces Sky game ran long, fans had already tuned in for Caitlin's game that followed, inflating the ratings. In reality, the actual number for Reese's most recent game was nowhere near 1 million. Stop it, man. Y'all gotta knock it off, this is what somebody said. Angel Reese fans out here lying about viewership from the game versus the Aces 2 nights ago? Fun fact, it only averaged around 230,000 average viewers. Just in case y'all don't know, that's not good. The true figure, roughly 230,000 viewers, on average. A far cry from the hype. And when you put that side by side with Clark's regular numbers, the gap is impossible to ignore. Pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about this point because it does no good lying about the situation. It absolutely does no good to anyone lying about viewership numbers, lying about situation. And first of all, I don't understand how this tweet went viral when Kennedy Carter is in the picture. What's worse is how deliberate the spin was. Reese supporters weren't just confused. They were knowingly using old stats to create the illusion that she was pulling Clark-level audiences, but fans aren't buying it. Y'all are so thirsty to try to keep her in some sort of hanging in the balance with Caitlin Clark, and it is not possible. I'm sorry, y'all. It's not possible. You guys are making yourselves look crazy when you do things like this and post fake viewership numbers to try to make her seem more lit than what it is. Stop it. The truth is clear. Angel Reese's games don't move the needle. Her popularity might spark headlines on social media, but when it comes to national broadcasts, the audience simply isn't there. It only got those numbers because it was a lead-in to the Caitlin Clark game following it. And the game went on longer than it was supposed to. So people had already turned to the channel and was waiting for the Caitlin Clark show to start. Meanwhile, every major jump in WNBA viewership has one common denominator, Caitlin Clark. Reese's so-called 2 million moment only happened because of her. And without Clark, Reese's numbers collapsed back to average. That's not superstardom. That's riding the coattails of the real draw. Unless Caitlin Clark or the Indiana Fever are on the floor, teams don't get viewers unless it's Game 5 of the finals. That is a fact. And when I say Caitlin Clark or the Fever, because let's be real, the most viewed team in the WNBA is Caitlin Clark. Or is the Fever. The reason why the Fever are the most viewed team in the WNBA, obviously Caitlin Clark. The Angel Reese viewership hype only exposed what diehard basketball fans already know. The only true ratings engine in the WNBA right now is Caitlin Clark. She isn't just another star on the rise. She's the central figure holding the league's spotlight. every time she's on the court, and her confidence spreads to the whole team. She's the biggest draw on the road of any WNBA player. So, her effect on the entire league is huge. She is the league. Look at the numbers. When Caitlin is on the floor, the Indiana Fever transform from a struggling young team into the most watched franchise in women's basketball. Even when she's injured, there are a lot of people, myself included, that watch every single Fever game. Because you know what? There's a lot of fans for the Fever. Every matchup turns into an event. Whether it's a home game in Indianapolis or a road trip to Las Vegas, the story is the same. Tickets sell out, resale prices skyrocket, and TV cameras flock to capture every moment. Broadcasters know it, sponsors know it, and even rival teams quietly admit it. When Caitlin Clark shows up, everyone else benefits. For Angel Reese missing a free throw at the end of this game to keep the Chicago Sky within striking distance versus the Phoenix Mercury, she asked, "Do I miss this free throw or do I make it?" The fans are saying that Tyler Marsh told her to miss this free throw. The effect of her absence proved just how deep her impact runs. When Clark missed time due to injury, the WNBA's ratings collapsed almost overnight. Fever broadcasts lost about 40% of their viewership. I believe through halftime. I think it was halftime. I looked at everybody and I think all but one player was under 40% for the Sky. We were all struggling. Like I said, Angel she had in just a 1 minute span, she missed 3 a layup, a jump hook, and a putback, all within 1 minute. So she started off the game 0 for 3 just like that quick. But the bigger hit was to the rest of the league. Without her presence drawing new eyes, non-Fever games lost more than 60% of their audience. That's right. When Clark isn't playing, fans don't just turn away from her team. They tune out of the WNBA altogether. We have ESPN ranking the top 25. Players under 25 years of age. That's not opinion. That's cold, hard data. Even ESPN, which has often seemed hesitant to give Clark full credit, couldn't hide it anymore. In their newest rankings of the top 25 players under 25, I'm interested in where the GOAT Caitlin Clark is going to be. ESPN has not always been the biggest supporters of Caitlin Clark. You see the nonsense that Monica McNutt and a bunch of others spewed consistently about Caitlin Clark on the network. They crowned Caitlin Clark as number 1 without question. Their own words said it all. Clark isn't just a needle mover. She is the needle. She's not the extra hype sprinkled on top of the league. Anybody not named Caitlin Clark is at the top of this list. This video will be ended within the next 10 seconds. I'm going to put it to you just like that. We not playing no games. She's the very reason so many people are tuning in. In fact, they compared her influence to an entire cake. The league is eating because of Caitlin. And when you stack her accomplishments next to her peers, it's not even close. Caitlin Clark coming in at number 1 as the GOAT should. We are talking about 60-some-odd records broken as a rookie, first-team All-WNBA. In just her rookie season, Clark broke over 60 records, earned first-team All-WNBA honors, and finished top 4 in MVP voting. She was on pace to win the league MVP outright if not for the injury setback, and no one doubts she'll claim that award soon enough. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's star narrative feels paper-thin next to that in losses. I think the other day I saw a statistic. This would have been prior to this loss. That there were something like 15 and 31 when she gets a double-double. Yes, she racks up rebounds and occasionally posts a double-double, but those numbers rarely translate into wins. More importantly, they don't translate into viewership. How y'all going to blame Tyler Marsh because she missed the free throw to end the game? How y'all going to blame him for that? Come on, man. Tyler Marsh said, no. Clark elevates her entire league. Reese is still fighting for headlines built on recycled stats and participation trophies. So, when the question is asked, it's some good players in here. There's some good players in here. Tahina Pow's in there. Janelle Salone is in there. Damn, Haley Van Liff. All these people you got picked above and you ain't in front of none of them. Anna Morrow, she all right. Who's really driving the WNBA forward? The answer couldn't be clearer. Caitlin Clark is the ratings engine, the storyline, and the face of the league. Everyone else, including Angel Ree, is just along for the ride. Number 5 is the right spot for Angel Ree. Should she be lower than number 5? Should she be higher than number 5? For months, we've been told that Angel Ree is not only a rising player, but also a ratings attraction, someone who could rival Caitlin Clark in star power. But when you peel back the layers, that narrative crumbles under its own weight. Quarters. Angel made it really, really tough for her. It was a good matchup to watch them. They made each other uncomfortable a lot. That's Angel's hardest matchup. Not Fee, not Asia, because Fee and Asia at some point want to play some finesse. At zero finesse, and Angel is more of a brute like AT. So it was a great matchup, and AT took over in the fourth and really won them that game. The truth is simple. Angel Reese might grab rebounds, but she does not grab the nation's attention. Y'all blaming him for everything. And this ain't the come at Angel. Like I said, she played a good game. 15 points, 20 rebounds. That's nothing. To poo-poo, she played a good game. 5 of 11, she played a good game. But y'all gotta knock it off. She smoked the free throw at the end of the game and blew the game. It is what it is. Start with her performances. Yes, she posts flashy double-doubles, but the reality is those numbers often come in losing efforts. Chicago fans will celebrate 15 points and 20 rebounds like it's a championship. But the scoreboard usually tells another story. Another loss piled onto a team struggling near the bottom of the standings. That's not stardom. That's empty stats. If you over 15 games under 500 when she gets a double-double, y'all out here celebrating this. I'd be embarrassed as a mother bleeper. I'd be embarrassed as hell. In fact, her critics have pointed out the irony. When the offense runs through Ree, the team suffers. She gets hers, but the Sky keep losing. That's not the hallmark of a ratings draw. It's the mark of a player who hasn't learned how to elevate those around her. She's the biggest draw on the road of any WNBA player. So her effect on the entire league is huge. She is the league. She's not a needle mover. She is the needle. Okay, not the icing on the cake. She's the whole cake. Caitlin Clark coming in at number 1 as the GOAT should. We are talking about 60-some-odd records broken as a rookie, first team All-WNBA. Now compare that with Caitlin Clark. Clark doesn't just score, she changes the entire landscape. Opposing arenas sell out months in advance when she's in town. Network schedule. Double headers around her games. Her presence alone lifts every team she plays against because fans don't want to miss a single shot from deep or one of her signature cross-court passes. So people had already turned to the channel and was waiting for the Caitlin Clark show to start. Stop it, man. Y'all gotta knock it off. This is what somebody said. Angel Reese fans out here lying about viewership from the game versus the Aces 2 nights ago. Fun fact, it only averaged around 230,000 average viewers. Just in case. Y'all don't know, that's not good. When Clark's on the floor, even her opponents benefit from higher ticket sales and national exposure. That's what being a draw actually means. The viewership numbers tell the same story. Reese's supporters tried to claim she pulled in 2 million viewers in a recent game. She just missed the free throw. See that? That like y'all cannot just accept the fact the girl had a good game, 15 and 20. But when it mattered the most, she smoked it. She jagged it at the free throw line. It happens, y'all. Like y'all don't want her to take blame so bad. Y'all was thirsty to blame Tyler Marsh and say, oh no, there's no way she would miss a free throw. There's no way Angel Reese will miss a free throw. Let's say Tyler March told her to miss it on purpose. Let's just wow him up. Let's bomb on him. But that's been exposed as a recycled stat from last season, inflated only because it overlapped with a Caitlin Clark broadcast. Strip that away, and her real numbers barely cleared 230,000 viewers. Not bad for a mid-level matchup, but nowhere near the massive audiences Clark attracts. People watch the Indiana Fever. People watch the Indiana Fever, and people like watching Indiana Fever. And ironically, the views are down. If you guys don't know, when Caitlin Clark gets injured, and like a big reason why the views are up, they're like the average views are up per game in a lot of situations. Yeah, there's more games on national TV. Like the league is in a good place, but like when Caitlin got injured, the Indiana Fever games I think fell by 40%, but non-Caitlin Clark games fell by 60%. Like Caitlin Clark getting injured has a more detrimental effect on the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces viewership because when Caitlin Clark is healthy, a lot of people still watch the Fever anyway because they like the Fever. When Caitlin Clark is healthy, they start watching other teams. And let's be clear, when replays without Clark anywhere near the broadcast, the interest flatlines. That's not superstardom. That's dependence on someone else's gravity. Even the WNBA itself seems to be trying too hard to manufacture this rivalry. The actual numbers are 234,000 views. Yes, the actual number is 234K. That is what it was. They pulled in on rival numbers during Candace Parker's jersey retirement. The league bizarrely used a graphic comparing Reese's numbers to Parker's rookie stats, conveniently leaving out the fact that Parker was literally coming back from childbirth in her second season. It felt less like a tribute to a legend and more like a desperate attempt to prop up Reese's profile. But here's the thing. True stars don't need manufactured comparisons or inflated narratives. Anybody not named Caitlin Clark is at the top of this list. This video will be ended within the next 10 seconds. I'ma put it to you just like that. We not playing no games. Caitlin Clark doesn't. Her game, her ratings, and her impact speak for themselves. In the end, the Reese is a star story just doesn't hold up. She might be a strong rebounder and a gritty competitor, but she's not moving TV deals. She's not filling arenas across the country, and she's not making casual sports. Fans tune into the WNBA. Caitlin Clark coming in at number 1 as the GOAT should. We are talking about 60-some-odd records broken as a rookie, first team All-WNBA. That role belongs to Caitlin Clark and Caitlin alone. Do you want me to now craft the out, tying everything together with a strong pro-Caitlin closer that slams the door on the Angel Reeve viewership lie? You guys know I'm not the person on YouTube that comes and really bashes this team. I'll call it how it is. I'm not going to beat somebody up the head, but she is struggling. So, let's call it what it is. The numbers don't lie. But Angel Reese's, fans sure did. Fake stats, recycled viewership claims, and participation trophy hype can't change the reality that Caitlin Clark is the one driving the WNBA forward. Top 4 in MVP voting. Probably would have won MVP this year if she wouldn't have got hurt, but we'll win it next year. Don't worry about it. Caitlin Clark, number 1. Well deserved. I don't believe it's close. I don't believe there's anywhere. It should be Caitlin Clark like 1 through 5, and then we get to the next player. She's the reason ratings soar, the reason arenas sell out, and the reason people who never watched women's basketball before are suddenly glued to their TVs. Angel Reeve may be a solid player, but she's not the draw. Caitlin Clark is. And every time someone tries to manufacture this rivalry with lies, Clark ends up proving the truth even louder. If you stand with Caitlin as the face of the league, drop your thoughts below because this is just the beginning of her era.